And welcome to Success Unlimited. I'm your host, Tom Simmons. And with us today, we have a phenomenal guest all the way from the land down under, Australia. With us is Jeff Ross with Laptop Lifestyle Dad. Jeff, welcome and good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's 6 a.m. in the morning here down under.
On the East Coast, it is 4 p.m. So you're about 14 hours ahead of us here on the
Yeah, I
West
keep
Coast.
saying we live in the future, right?
So how is tomorrow?
Yeah. Make sure I give you the horse racing tips.
There you go. Give me the daily lotto numbers. But I want to dive in and explore your story. Your story, as we were talking before we started recording, is absolutely amazing. There's so much to cover. And I think your story is so inspiring and there's so much to unpack. I really I'm not even sure where to start because there's so much to get into. But let me start with the current laptop lifestyle dad. And I see on YouTube, if you watch this from YouTube or if you see it, the video, you have a kangaroo as a logo with a laptop. So what is laptop lifestyle?
Well, it's a laptop lifestyle. It's about, best way to describe it is I don't have a 9 to 5 gig. I have everything in between the parenting, the school runs, the travel, the sickness, that you have to deal with kids and everything in between gig. It's about creating freedom in freedom in purpose, freedom in time, freedom in our finances, and freedom in our friendships, so like freedom in aspect is probably the big thing there, to be able to live a life on purpose, a life by design. And
that sounds so good.
Yeah.
It sounds so nice. Usually there's a conflict, right? If you have a 9 to 5, you either have money and no time, or you have a lot of time, but you're flat broke. You have no money.
That's
So
it.
you've been able to kind of navigate the freedom of time and money. So what do you do to help dads?
So the mission that we're on is essentially to help workaholic, burnt out, busy biz owner dads, help them transform into laptop lifestyle dadpreneurs. Teaching them how to navigate this online space. Teaching them how to make at least $10,000 a month through online income, through a mobile phone, through a laptop, through an internet connection, and really so that they can be present with their family. Have that quality time with their family and essentially have their cake and eat it too. As men, we love to make sure that we provide for our family. I've been that workaholic father. I was a son of a workaholic father. And when we get into that space, just providing, we miss out on what our kids really need. And that's that TIME, that quality time with us. And our kids sort of grow up essentially with our fathers working all the time. And and mothers too these days, and because we have to, because of the cost of living. But when we can look at ways to be flexible in our income streams and have multiple, so we're not reliant on one, it creates that sense of freedom. Well, it creates that freedom, right, to be able to work between the gig. And I could run my business and I can teach others to do it as well, from the beaches of the world, or from my son's hospital bed, just like I was 6 months ago.
Oh my gosh. So I want to come back to that as part of your journey, I'm sure. So you're located in Australia, but because this is laptop lifestyle, you're not tied to a location. Is this a global brand? You help men all around the world?
Yeah, I travel all around the world. I've also got clients all around the world, or team players. I'm part of a network marketing company, which is a travel club. And part of that, as a travel ambassador, we get to travel to all these amazing places as a travel influencer and teach people how to do that as well. And, I've now positioned myself, 16 years as a digital marketer, now as a social selling and AI mastery coach, teaching people how to live this lifestyle.
So now we have to come back to the AI part. That's a word that, artificial intelligence is a hot word, keyword
Mm.
everyone's talking about. I want to circle back around to that as well. But I, in the 16 years as a digital marketer, but I want to circle back first to your son being in the hospital.
Mm.
Is he okay?
Yeah, so 6 months ago, he's okay now. We're adjusting.
Okay.
6 months ago, I just got back from it's actually probably longer than 6 months ago now. What was it? July last year. We just got back from a holiday up in Queensland, and a week later, he lost the ability to walk,
Oh my
like pretty
gosh.
much overnight. Like he was on the soccer field the day before, running around with his mates, and yeah, just like he woke up that morning and said, "Dad, my leg feels funny. I can't." He's tripping over his own leg, and by lunchtime we took him to hospital. By that night, he was in a wheelchair. He could not walk. His whole right side, pretty much whole right side of his body was just numb, just gone numb.
Oh my gosh.
And watching your son go through something like that's it's a pretty traumatic experience. For him, for us, and all that. He's only 12 going through this. And anyway, long story short, through all of that, he ended up being diagnosed with MS 3 months ago.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, and he'll definitely be in my prayers. That's an ongoing thing; doesn't just go away.
No, it's yeah. We were when we first had the diagnosis, we were first diagnosed with a thing called ADEM, which essentially is lesions on the brain, but it's only temporary and it goes away. But yeah, 6 months into the journey, they decided this is not going away, and yeah,
It's
this
not
is
that.
this
That'd
is
be
part of our
something.
life now.
Wow.
So
Well, not. I want to kind of steer away from that just a little bit, and again, I have a son about the same age, and that hits home, and he'll definitely, and you and your entire family and him will be in my prayers. But
appreciate you. But just on that, talking about the laptop lifestyle, right? I was so grateful that I was able to still run my business. I didn't have to stop running my business. I've got a team of over 150 people in our network marketing business. I was able to, still do all of that, run all of that by his hospital bed when we were in hospital for 2 weeks. So that, that sense of being able to be dad, but also be able to, jump into a couple of conversations through text message or whatever and still keep things moving forward. Like that just gave me a really light bulb moment that every father needs to be out of position to be in this situation like that.
That's what you call being in a position to be your hero to your son, and be there emotionally for him when he needs you the most. That is so amazing, and it's a testimony to what you do and the lifestyle that you live and breathe and teach.
Yeah, that's my why, right? That's our purpose. It's to be able
Right.
to free those people up to be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, that is amazing. So, how do you use artificial intelligence in marketing as a digital marketer?
Yeah, great question. I'm currently sort of been really diving deep into this for the last 12 months now. And it's funny, like 12 months ago, I actually stood against, AI and chat GPT and all that. I said, oh, look, this just can't be me. It's too robotic. It's, not got any heart to it. Well, anyway, that's what I did. I learned how to bring the heart to it. And I learned it's not a replacement. It's just another tool. So essentially, I've been doing attraction marketing, social selling, whatever label you want to throw it around now for the last 16 years. And I've just worked out how to leverage AI from a content marketing perspective to be as an assistant, as a tool. And the tagline I've been throwing around at the moment is AI plus our heart equals our superpower.
Yeah, we all have superpowers. I think that AI will just enhance. It won't necessarily replace your superpower, but it will enhance. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of fear around artificial intelligence, but if you use it, and the businesses that use it will stay around and be competitive and crush the competitors that don't use it. That's basically it.
Yeah, look, I saw a stat there the other day, and I've backed this stat, fact checked it all, and all that sort of thing. And 93% of USA businesses want to be using AI. or know that they need to be using AI. Guess how many actually are? 3%.
Are you serious?
Only 3% of USA businesses are actually using AI effectively, but 91% want to.
I don't think they know what it is. They don't know how to do it. They hear about it, but they don't know where to go.
No, it's like, the other thing I can equate to in this space is it's like the 1994 when internet hit.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's also, you go back further in the revolution. It's almost like when, the cars hit the arena and the agricultural revolution. It's like,
right.
It's not going to, it's not going to take jobs away from humans. AI is not to do that, but people who learn how to leverage these tools will.
Right.
They're the ones that will keep up with the speed and leverage it and be more efficient and more productive.
Right.
And AI is just the new internet.
Yeah, we are in the fourth revolution, industrial revolution, at least in from an American perspective, and it's really interesting because everyone when they hear that, it's like, oh, AI is a fourth industrial revolution. No, the conception of the internet for the past 2 and 3 decades, we have been in a decades-long revolution, and transforming everything from a landline phone to cell phones, from having no computers in vehicles to now you have to be a part of a software programmer to fix your computers in your car. To, I mean, we're talking right here, and we're half a world away.
Yeah, that's it. And I look at my 12-year-old son. When I was 12-year-old, I was mucking out horse poo from stables. That was my job. Yep. I just got my 12-year-old now and just brought him into our business as our video editor. He's playing around with CapCut and short form videos, and he's loving it. And it's like, okay, cool, you do that, and I'm paying him per video.
That's awesome. When I was 12 years old, I was delivering penny saver in upstate or central New York. For I got 5 cents a page or a paper I delivered. So, yeah. And then now my son's like, "Oh, I want to be, whatever, a YouTuber or this or that." It's
that's my son's dream. Is he wants to be a famous YouTuber like Mr. Beast.
Yeah, Mr. Beast has influenced millions around the world, and everyone wants to be Mr. Beast.
Yeah,
yeah. I want to give away $1 million and crush a Lamborghini, right?
Yeah, or just buy a train and just run it off the tracks.
Right.
One of the things I saw the other day, he's got this big giant pit, and he's driving his train. He's just bought this train. He's set up the tracks, and he says, "Who's going to survive, the train or the pit?" And he just drives this big train into a pit and just blows it up. It's insane. Like he's got to go bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I think he was offered like an insane amount of money, billions. And he turned it down because the brand he has created using AI, using internet and technology is absolutely incredible. Kudos to him. That's awesome. I wanted to also touch on your journey personally, because you were telling me you've had a lot of struggles in life, and I would like to, if you don't mind, I guess, opening up, and if you're okay with this,
happy
opening up and maybe your story will help the next guy who might be struggling with the same thing, or next gal is struggling with the same or a similar problem. And if you don't mind, I'll let you just take it over and tell your story.
It's funny how timely this is right now. To be having this conversation with you now, Tom. It's just like a few key mentors in my life have reminded me just recently how much I'm sort of going from leaps and leaps and leaps in my own journey, but I've caught myself being up too much in my head and being too busy, and a lot of my own marketing has lost the heart, and I'm reminded to, be still and you'll know God, right? Reminded to slow down and come back into our heart and be vulnerable and be raw. So, yeah. I'm happy to do that because this is a really good sort of a practice for me here too. So I suppose it's probably the best place to start with the story is to go back to the beginning. So I was forced onto a disability pension at the age of 30. I worked on cattle stations and horse studs in my life. I dropped out of school at year 9. I don't have a degree to my piece of paper to my name, and yeah. So by the time I was 26, well, and breaking horses, being that ranch hand lifestyle, all of that sort of thing, and I had a horse jump on my neck. I ended up with three. Lucky to be walking, lucky to be talking, all of that. But the injury from that result was the result from that injury. Sorry, I am dyslexic too. So the result from that injury was I ended up with 3 crushed discs in the back of my neck, a couple of damaged ones, and a lot of nerve damage in my shoulder and my right arm. So by the time I was 30, living in chronic pain, the doctors pretty much wrote me off. They said, "This is your life. Nothing we can really do for you. We're going to put you on a disability pension." So at this time, I am newly married. Had our first child with us and our second one on the way. And thinking, crap, my whole plan for life, to provide for this family and all that, has just gone straight out the window. My identity straight out the window.
There's something about being a man, and you mentioned earlier about being a man and wanting to provide for your family and be the provider, be the strength, be the protector.
Yeah.
And all that was gone.
I really lost that identity, and I went through a bit of a spiraling depression because of that. But I'm very grateful for some of the key mentors in my life. I had a mentor at that time. He kicked me in the ass. He said, "Right, time to stop the pity party. Time to get on with life. And it's time to get back into the game. What are you going to do? How are you going to provide for this family?" And at that time, this was 2008, 2009. I saw, like people making money online way back then. And a little thing called Facebook had sort of just hit the arena. And so, I saw people advertising on Facebook, and I thought, hey, I could do that. And so I joined a company that, basically taught me all the digital marketing education. It was a direct selling company. I was one of the first here in Australia to join this company. I cut my teeth on that. I became one of the top selling direct selling agents there for Australia for that company. But I was during that, it was like an earn to learn scenario. And I was learning how to build websites. I was learning how to do Facebook ads. I was learning how to do funnels and social media and all of that sort of thing. So I took those skills that I learned from this company, and I started a digital marketing agency back in 2010. I did the silly thing, went into a partnership with 2 other people with that, not realizing, young and naive, that a partnership's like a marriage. That lasted 18 months and it imploded on itself. However, I kept that going on my own back, and basically building websites and doing funnels and all that sort of thing for our clients. And we're doing pretty well. I was doing enough to provide for the family. Fast forward to 2017, and this is when now the e-commerce drop shipping sort of business model sort of hit the arena, and I decided to pivot and adjust and go into that. Still kept my agency stuff going on the side, but put more of my attention into the drop shipping model. With the foundation that I'd already acquired, with the knowledge that I already had, I hooked up with a business coach at that time, and was able to take his blueprint, because he had mastered the drop shipping, and run with that pretty quickly. And we did $1.6 million in 4 months selling a stuffed elephant all around.
I'm sorry, you said a stuffed elephant?
Stuffed toy, 40 centimeter plus stuffed toy elephant, out of China, and drop shipping it around the world. That grew just as fast as it grew. It imploded on itself. I had perfect storm scenario. I had suppliers who ran out of products because they couldn't keep up with it, which led to customer service and shipping issues. And I was a one-man show. This was back before a lot of our automation that we see today existed, and I was processing all the orders one by one manually. I couldn't keep up with them, so they had a bottleneck there. Had a bottleneck with the shipping, and anyway, it imploded on itself. And I got even way over my head. Couldn't keep up with the train that was running off the tracks. And so I lost that business, and I learned a few hard lessons through that. A couple of key lessons that I learned through that was the power of niching down, but also the power of automation and getting your customer value journey right. and understanding those 7 steps to that. So took those lessons, went back to my digital marketing agency days and started another digital marketing agency, just pivoted and adjusted and rebranded the old one. Called it Your Marketing Nerd. We specialized in servicing massage centers, chiropractors, gyms, and creating customer acquisition pipelines, lead generation centers for these businesses. And so that was from about 2018 to 2020, and then COVID hit. And because we had specialized in serving health industry, we got hit hard, and basically I lost all my contracts overnight. We had 5 guys working for me full time with that business, and been doing pretty well for us, and lost that business again. And so COVID took that out from me. The supplier issues, so had a lot of success, lost it, had a lot of success, lost it. And January 2022, come out of COVID, my wife and I, we started a massage business just before COVID. So we closed down for that one, reopened that, got her up and running, and we got a very successful massage business up and running till today. And January 2022 came along. I realized actually COVID was a blessing, because I was that burnt out, busy biz owner father. I was working 60, 70 hours a week, missing out on my kids growing up. I've got 3 boys now. They're 12, 11 and 8 now. So, I was missing out on those early days of them growing up. And I knew that coming out of COVID, I knew that I did what I didn't want to do anymore. And the thought of building another website, running Facebook ads for clients and all that sort of thing just made my skin crawl. It just made me nag. It's like, I can't go back and do that. Did it very, very successfully, did it very, very well. But I felt like I was a performance clown on a juggling ball, juggling knives, putting out fires, all that sort of stuff, left, right, and center. I didn't want to go back to that, but I knew what I did love from that space. I love the online marketing space. I love it. I geek out on it, and I love travel. So I combined the two together, and as a coach, God's gift to be there with the teaching gift. I was able to start the Laptop Lifestyle Dads community. And fast forward to today, I'm now the #1 global recruiter for this travel club. 18 months ago, probably not even that, 12 months ago, people started asking me, what am I doing? How am I, recruiting so well for this club? What's working for me? And I just said, look, it's the stuff that I've been doing for over a decade now with the customer value journey stuff. And this is when AI started to hit the arena too. Yep. And I started incorporating that into our content marketing and making it more efficient. And, I now fast forward, I position myself as a social selling and AI mastery coach. And doing pretty well in that space, teaching people how to create a proven, predictable system using social selling and using AI. That's probably the professional side of the story. And then amongst there's the personal side of that story.
Yeah.
As I've gone through the e-commerce journey and all of that sort of thing, gone through, losing my identity through the horse jumping on my neck and being put onto a disability pension. My wife and I, we moved interstate, at those early days of our marriage, and we moved 3 states when our eldest son was 2 and our youngest son was 4 months old. And essentially, we were looking for a restart in our lives. And I now know that all I was doing was running away, but taking my baggage with me. So we moved from northern New South Wales down to Tasmania. And about 6 months into that journey, I actually tried to kill myself.
Oh my gosh.
Because basically I was very, very depressed. So I've just, I've shared the highlight reel, the success journeys and all that. But, through that start, we moved down to Tasmania, 2 kids. So we're actually homeless for the first 3 months because we just couldn't find a house. And I just felt everything just come to a point. And at this time, I was actually an atheist. And I basically, opened up to my business coach at the time. And she said, right, you got to come talk to my friend Tim. Tim's been our senior pastor at this church we go to, the Taras. And so I just opened up to Tim, and I just said basically a couple of weeks ago, I've tried to kill myself, OD on pain meds and alcohol, and it was 2 a.m. in the morning that time when I tried to do that, and I had everything there. I was just about to do it, and then my 2-year-old son walked into the bathroom and said, "Dad, what are you doing?" He never wakes up at night, and Dad, what are you doing? And I just fell to the ground sobbing, and just my wife woke up that morning at 6 a.m. in the morning with me being in the bathroom with Harrison on my shoulder asleep and me just sitting there crying my eyes out. And realized then and there that something had to change. I needed to own a lot of my shit. Yep. I needed to take ownership of it all, and look for a different way.
Wow!
And it's 2 weeks later, there I'm being introduced to Tim. Tim's said to me, "Have you ever heard of this fellow by the name of Jesus?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I've heard of him, but I don't know if I believe in him. I think it might be just a myth." But I said to him at that time, I said, "Look, I'm open for the first time in my life. I've tried everything the world's had to offer, and it's just chewed me up and spit me out.
Yeah,
it's probably time to look at something different." And
what changed your mind?
It was my son. Just that realization that how selfish I was going to be, and I looked at and I envisioned their life without me. I was just all up in my own head, and I thought I convinced myself that they would be better off without me. Right. Sarah, the struggle that I was putting my wife through, and the kids at that stage, 2 and 4 months, so don't really know me. And I just couldn't put them through that type of struggle and that pain. So I opened up to Tim about all this, and started, he just sat down with me, just did some really basic, Bible discovery with me, and we just started, exploring Jesus together. And 6 weeks into that journey, I realized that there's more to life, that this fellow named Jesus might be real. I now know he is. And tried to do something different.
Was there a scripture or something Pastor Tim said that was like a turning point or a light bulb, or what was
it's more of a realization that God's our Heavenly Father, and that was the big thing that I was missing was love, connection, and I put everybody in leadership positions up on a very high pedestal, that nobody could really get to, and those expectations on those people and myself and whatnot, and I just kept letting myself down. I'm very grateful for my father, how hard he worked, but my father and his relationship with my dad is not that great. It's a strange, pretty tensioned, and that's because he left home at 13, and he's actually quite depressed, and just doesn't know how to express any love other than working hard. We had a really good life. He provided for us, right. But I was missing out on that fatherly connection and that love that only a father can bring, and realizing that Jesus and God can fill that hole was, and I suppose the passage of the Bible that comes to mind now is, and this may be very badly paraphrasing, but essentially is when we, God's there to transform our hearts and renew our minds. That's right. And all of that's come through love. I look now 10 years into that journey, that God restored my heart through love. He transformed it all through love. He restored our marriage, and he worked on my wife, with her journey and forgiveness and love in that space, and brought us closer together. We now have another son, so our family's grown +1. And just, through that, restoring our hearts and restoring our marriage and restoring our family, we just have a heart to want to help other people do that. Now to the point where today, in the last couple of months, actually, Sarah and I are starting an online church. Called Today's Discipleship Community. And the mission for that community is to help people transform the one through Jesus's love.
Oh, I love it. I think that scripture is Romans 12:2.
Yes, that's it. Romans 12.
Yep, Romans 12:2. And today's discipleship community is a global community to
Yes.
help transform people into disciples, Christ followers.
Yeah. So we only started really officially probably about 6 weeks ago. I just shared my story there around the spiritual side of it, coming to faith on social there a couple of times, invited people to come, partner with us to see who wants to change the world. And, now we've got 23 people in 4 different countries already.
Oh my gosh, that is an amazing reach. And part of that, correct me if I'm wrong, has been the result of the internet marketing, the laptop lifestyle dad, and the reach that you've been able to build through there.
Yeah.
You're taking the secular or the business, that side, and realizing, hey, there's a lot of people that are needing to connect with Jesus in different methods, different ways, and that is such an amazing journey.
The world is starving for love. And I just want to play my part to be able to help people transform in that love and connect. And we're not created. Our Western world, our secular world, it's very consumeristic and it's designed to almost feel alone. You got to grow up with a mentality. You can't trust people. You got to do it yourself. You only want to do something right. That type of thing. Everybody's just out to get you, and it's a very lonely place. Yeah, and we're not designed to do life on our own. We're designed to, we're herd animals. We're designed to do life in community, right? And so, look, Sarah's and my wife's and myself's probably our core, deepest values is love and connection. Everything that we've ever done in business has always been about expressing that love and connection and bringing that to the world.
Yeah. Wow. So I want to, we're kind of up at the end of our time here, but I have one last question for you. Actually, before I go into that question, if someone wanted to plug into your community, how do they do that?
Yeah, cool. Just it's Jeffrey Ross on Facebook. It's Laptop Lifestyle Dads Community on Facebook. There, I can give you the links there to put into the show notes if you need to.
I mean,
I do have a website. I do have a website. It's being built at the moment. I wanted to prove to people that you don't need a website to start a business.
That's right.
So 2 years, I've been building this business with Facebook and a Facebook group. Really, it's gotten to the point now where I do need a website. So the URL for the website will be laptoplifestyledads.au.
All right. And so last question I have for you. This is a favorite question of mine. Usually wrap up most podcasts like this. If you could take anybody to dinner from the past or from the present, who would it be?
Great question. You know what? I have to say Zig Ziglar jumps out to mind.
Okay. I've heard that one before. Why Zig Ziglar?
I just loved how profound his thinking was, in spiritual and business, in as leadership, and just, when I think of, other than Jesus, who's probably the number one leader, to follow, other leadership examples in the moment that I would have loved to have wished I had the opportunity to go and talk to Zig Ziglar. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for being on here, sharing your story, your inspiration. Gave me goosies. I can relate on so many levels, from having kids, 8 and 11, being in some parts workaholic, but trying to balance that with kids and life and just everything we have going. I can relate on so many levels. And I think that what you're doing is so inspirational, so needed. And I hope the audience who hears this will search you out, will get plugged into your community. I think it can make such a big, big difference. So.
Yeah. And look, if I had to sum up the whole journey in one key lesson, I'm actually writing a book at the moment and unpacking this in a deeper way, but it's learning to fail forward fast. And the title of the book I'm writing is called Fail Forward Fast 1,000 Times. It's okay to put a line in the sand and say, okay, this is my day one. You know, everything that's got me here is great. Celebrate that, take the lessons from it. But sometimes you've got to pivot and adjust and say, okay, what's got me here is not going to get me where I need to be. And if I had to sum up my whole journey, that's all I've ever done. You know, I said, I don't have any university degrees. I dropped out of school at year 9. I'm dyslexic. I can't spell, but I've gone through the school of hard knocks. You know, I've learned to lean into my faith, and I've learned to fail forward fast.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, appreciate your time. Thank you so much. We will be in touch. We have the AI symposium coming up in June, and one every quarter. You've been helping with that initiative as well. You're busy, but again, thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate you. Thank you for the space.
Thank you. Take care.